Yeah, so I mean, growing up was very interesting for me. I grew up in a city in northern, well, mid belt Nigeria called Jos, and it was just so interesting growing up. My father was actually the person who taught me how to play the guitar. He used to play the guitar and record himself. So he would record himself with those tape recorders that you have, record and play, depress both of them and record himself. And my mom used to duet with him. She used to back him up. So it was interesting growing up in that kind of environment and just being around that musicality. And my sisters could sing, so it was like a Bonchap family, Sound of Music situation going on. And we would go to my sister's school to sing. We'll sing in church, we'll sing in different places. And that was how that was, the major memory that I remember from growing up. Growing up in a space with music around me defined music in a different way for me. And for me, music is love, and music is, expression without, you're not hindered in the way you express yourself. Many times you find out that Nigerian parents don't want their children to go into music, but it was a different case for me. My mom, because my dad is late, and when I decided to go into music, my mom was like, I know you would make it, make it big. And there was no hindrance, there was support. So when I think about music, I think about love, and I think of freedom of expression, and that was what I was given when I was growing up.
Fails to say the words I do. I know that she don't.
That's a good question. So it's interesting. My journey has been, like an interesting journey. And many times musicians are very selfish, because you need to look out for yourself. You need to grow your craft. You need that time to rehearse and practice. Those are hours that you're by yourself. So everything is for me. I need to grow, I need to blow, I need to make a lot of money. And that was my initial thought, for myself as a musician. Of course, money wasn't my main driver. I did music for the love of it. But I wanted to get those awards. I wanted to get the recognition that comes with doing music and doing music differently. I wanted that recognition. And it was all about me. But eventually I found out that I was created to make music for the world. And in the process of doing that, I'm meant to add value to people around me using music as a vehicle. So music is really my gift, and it's a vehicle to convey me to, to my purpose or my destination or whatever you can call it. And for me, as an artist, I think I'm here to add value to people through my music, shine the light, be the light, and just make sure that I help other people grow as well.
I say the words I love you, then I take you by surprise.
I mean, now I would call it, I would say it's fusion. It's really, it's quite difficult for me to put a tag on the kind of music that I create now, because it's really evolved into something else. Before it was soul, and then it became alternative music, and then now it's just a fusion of different sounds, making it eclectic, bringing different sounds, hip-hop, R&B, raga, Afro pop in there, just merging everything and creating something that is just beautiful and different for people to experience. So I would call it fusion. I get asked this question a lot, like what is my ritual for creating or even writing. I really don't have any ritual. I wish I did, because it would just let me know that I have a formula to work, but most times I go with whatever the environment is giving me. I go with whatever inspiration I'm getting from whoever is around, or from God, or inspiration I'm getting from maybe TV, hearing something in the TV. I really just soak up everything around me, because I believe there's music everywhere. So what my job is to identify that music and then take it and make it mine. you know. So I really don't have a ritual, but when I do get into it, when I do start writing or creating music, it's a process that, you know, engulfs the whole of me, and, you know, just takes everything, you know. And I wouldn't say there's a ritual, you know. I wouldn't say there's a ritual, but there's just an inspiration that comes when that journey is meant to begin. It's been 12 years since I, you know, started my music career, and saying it now, that means if I had a child then you'll have been 12 now. You know, it's such a long time, and for me it's a blessing. I know a lot of people who started with me a lot, but are not here today in terms of, you know, still making music. Maybe they've drifted into another career path. And it's a blessing to still be here, to still be relevant, to still be creating music, and, you know, to still be adding value. And, you know, it's just a blessing. And for me, in terms of creating music right now, I think 12 years gives you enough time to evolve. You know, when you evolve, you become something else. You innovate, you do more interesting things, you know, and then you're able to, you know, offer a different type of sound, or, you know, create a different kind of, you know, energy for people to experience. So I think the longer the time, the more I'm able to evolve, and the more I'm able to even create in terms of creating a catalog that people can relate to. You may not know, I know you've done it. Wait till you... It's interesting, you know, because that is one of the inspirations, you know, that I talk about. When you have children around you, you have somebody who's supportive, it's just amazing to be able to still do the things you do and have those people as a support structure. You know, so I see my family as a support structure. There are times that maybe I'm not just feeling it. You know, there are times that I'm having like certain challenges, you know, but when you have these people around you, they just make it all worthwhile for you. You know, you see life in a different way, and that support can never really be understated at all. It's just amazing. Yeah, so the way the music industry works here, you know, most of where the money comes from is from shows, gigs, endorsements. That's where the money comes from mostly. If people were buying a lot of CDs, then you would also rely on the CDs, you know, to make money. But when it comes to corporate events, those are the guys that actually fund the music industry. You know, you have the corporates, you have the companies, the head offices. Everyone is actually coming together to form this music ecosystem to fund it. So when those people are having events, when they need endorsements, you know, when they want to do something for their brand activations, they usually pull on artists to come and perform. So those are mostly the kinds of events that I do. And it's not like the people on the street are not feeling the music, you know. The people on the street don't put up concerts. You know, we still put up those concerts. So I put up a concert, Bez Live, you know, and if you've seen the pictures, you've seen footage from Bez Live, you know, you would see that people are really loving and accepting this music, but maybe people aren't just creating specific shows that would cater to this style of music, you know. So there are certain shows that people create that is just, you know, Afropop, for example. And because of the way I perform live. So by the time you're trying to book me for that kind of show, and I send you my rider and I send you my bill, like, this is what I need, you know, you rather just get somebody else that will just come and play, you know, with a DJ. So, but with the corporates, you know, you send them your rider, they're able to give you everything that you need, or put up certain kind of events that, you know, would, you know, that I'll be able to play on, you know. So that's why I do a lot of corporate shows. If you say to me, I'll go take you by the hand. Yeah, I mean, I mean, when people talk about major shows, I always ask them, what do you mean by major shows? You know, because is it in terms of the amount of people that come out for those shows? If it's the amount of people that come out for those shows, then we're talking about 3,000, 2,000 people. And that's what Bez Life is. We plan our shows and we have 2,000 people there. You know, Johnny Drill did a show recently, you know, and he had 3,000 people there. You know, so that's a major, major show for him. And I explained to you that one of the reasons why you may not have Johnny Drill playing on a certain kind of stage is because they may not want to put in the work to get a live setup there. And Johnny Drill, I know, plays live, you know, so he'll want to play live instead of playing with the CD. But I've played in major festivals and major shows in Nigeria. You know, I've played the Gbagyi Fest. You know, all the major events that you know about. I play them. I've been on tour around Nigeria, Enugu, Oka, Anambra, you know, Benue, Makodi, you know, Uyo, Calabar. I've done the Calabar festivals. You know, so I do all those shows. But one thing that I've started being better at is, you know, broadcasting that I'm actually doing these shows, you know, because most times when I was doing them, I wasn't like, why should I put it up on social media? I mean, maybe I'm going and playing and doing what I love and getting paid. Like, why should I put it up? But later on, I realized that it's really important to really push that, you know, thing out there so people know that these things are happening and they see it. Very interesting. I just finished recording my album, and I think I'm ready to, you know, release that very, very soon. I've also opened a hub, which is a music hub, and what we're trying to do there is to develop artists and help them to build their careers, and not just build any kind of career or a career that is a flash in the pan and before you know it they blow and then you're looking for them, you can't find them. But we're looking to build artists that are able to have careers like King Sunny Ade, sustain that career for a long while, feed other people from that career, feed their families, take care of their family, and create impact in their society and community. So those are the kinds of things that I've been working on, and I'm really excited about Artist Hub. It's spelled RTIST, and that is the creative hub that I've started, you know, to help, you know, creative artists and build them. And I'll say the words, I love you. It is, to be honest, you know. My first album came out in 2011, and Gbagyi Child came out 2016. So you see, there's a 5-year gap. And I mean, I'll put out music when I want to put out music, you know. So this time, I'm going to put out music this year. But what I've realized and what I've also decided to do is to put out a lot more music because I'm in a very creative space right now. I'm in a very good space, I'm very comfortable, and I have a hub with artists around me that we're constantly rehearsing, constantly creating, and there's no point of rehearsing and creating and not putting that music out there. You know, so as we create, as we rehearse, we put out the music out there for people to enjoy, because that's what we're here for, we're creators. Yeah, so the album was, you know, the album came about when I had that realization that, listen, wait a minute, I'm actually the light. I'm meant to shine my light to the world, you know, and the way that I can shine my light to the world is to help people in every way possible. Is to set up this creative hub I've set up, is to help artists, is to motivate people and make sure that they know that they can actually be more than they are. You know, which is an ongoing theme even from Super Son. And Super Son was talking about, you know, you can be the Super Son, you're greater than a superstar, that's who you are. So that is the theme around this album, is more, you know, just helping people be more than who they are. I worked with a lot of people. I worked with a band called Cavemen, very, very amazing band. I worked with Tiwizi, who is mostly the producer on the album. I worked with Insikak, who is also a producer and a guitarist, and I worked with Icon, who's also a producer. I worked with a rapper as well called Dap. is a young rapper really creating massive impact in the scene. There aren't a lot of collaborations in the album. You know, there's just actually like 2 collaborations. But that's the way it's meant to be. We're thinking, well, hopefully in May, next month, we should have the album out. You may not know, but I know psychology. I think I've, you know, I don't know, you know. I mean, when I started, you know, a lot of people had that comparison with me and Asha, but I think I've really evolved, you know, past that into something else. If you listen to my music, there's a lot of rock in there, you know. There's more energy, you know. So I definitely love Asha. She's been a major inspiration now, and I would love to collaborate with her. And if, you know, we get in a room, you know, together very soon, I'm sure that will happen. Wait till you hear what your friends tell me, it's so funny. Yeah, Blow is just making it music. When, I mean, your music is being heard all over the nation and they know about you, they know your song, and you're the, you know, you're the hype of the moment, you have a hit. And that's it, that's when you blow. There's nothing wrong with blowing, you know, but you just need to know that once you're there, you need to keep it up. You need to sustain that energy and momentum. What is commercial music and what is mainstream? I mean, commercial music is what you create for, you know, people to consume immediately, and something that they, you know, it's not hard to listen to, it's not difficult to understand what you're trying to say, it's pop feel. You know, I'm just making this music for people to dance, play it in the clubs, and then it's that song that can be a hit, you know, almost immediately. But mainstream music, you know, you can actually have a song that goes mainstream, like Ire by Idakula Gold. You know, you don't play that song in a club. You wouldn't really call that song a, you know, a pop song, you know, but Ire went mainstream. Do you understand what I mean? You know, you have a song like Uyomeyo by Tenny. You know, it's not something that you play in a club. It's really like a prayer. But like, you find that song is amazing, it's evergreen. You find a song like this year, or it's an evergreen song. You know, you find songs like Zuchia there by Bez, evergreen songs. You know, so those songs can filter into the mainstream and become mainstream. Oh, baby, stop pretending. I have a temper, but I'll keep it down. I would say, I mean, I've really traveled around Nigeria, a lot of, almost 30 states in Nigeria, and I've experienced, you know, different types of people loving different types of sound. And it's interesting, in the north, they actually really love R&B. You know how many times they brought Joe to Abuja, to Kano, you know, in fact, you'll be amazed. They love R&B in the north. You know, you come down south and, you know, there's that Fuji, you know, Akbala, you know, that vibe there. You know, you go to the east and then they're more calm. That's why you hear Flavor singing things like, you know, You're a Virtuous Woman. He has that vibe because he understands the sound of the east. So when you travel around, you actually find that people have different tastes of music. What the media gets wrong is that they feel like everybody loves Afropop. No, that's not true. Not everybody loves Afropop. Everybody loves to dance. That's Africa for you. So if you put a sound here and you bring a small boy of 2 years old, he will dance whether or not he knows what's in the sound, what's in the music. But if you break down some other types of music and sounds for him, he will also love it. So Nigerians' taste of music differs. It's so different. But what I do understand and what I do know is that as Africans, we love groove, you know. So we all love, music that will make us dance. I love it. We all love it. I mean, so, but we do have different tastes of music. I mean, at a point, Celine Dion was the highest selling artist in Nigeria. Do you know that? Yes, Celine Dion. In Alaba, she was it was the highest selling CD. Celine Dion. Tell me you don't know a Celine Dion song. You know, so it's just a different taste. When the sky is gray, I heard that you said you had a boo. I don't think it's the next step. I think it should be the step. You know, I mean, you're creating music. You're not just creating music for your family, you know, or for the people around you. You're creating music because it can scale into a global audience. You know, and technology has made it so easy to create music right now, to share music. That's why you're seeing everything happening all around the world. You have the Spotify's, the Apple Music, you have all those kinds of distribution. So they are ready to accept music from Africans. All we need to do is to make sure that we're producing music well, it sounds great, it always sounds great, and then we're performing it properly. That I'm the light. That's it. Listen, you know, everybody exits this world. You know, you don't need to remember me that, you know, I was one that won 10 Grammys. You know, those things don't mean nothing. What I want you to remember me for is that I was the light. You know what the sun does? The sun is up there shining light. You know, it gives you warmth when you're cold. It gives you energy. You know, it gives you food, because without the sun, there's no photosynthesis. There are no plants. You know, it helps with solar energy. It's just crazy. So I want to be the super sun, and that's who I am. You know, I'm giving value. I want to be that person that people will say, this guy, without him, I wouldn't have been where I am. And that's it, you know. And I think everybody needs to have that as a legacy. You know, it's not about, you know, you have all the cars, you have all the houses, they all go when you go. You know, so my legacy is I helped people to achieve their purpose in life. My DNA, you know, is a DNA of success. There's no failure attached to my DNA. Whatever I do is successful. You know, so when I chose to do music, a lot of people were scared for me. I'm like, why are you scared for me? I'm not scared for myself. I'm going to be successful in this, and this is what I'm going to do. So if I have this DNA, imagine what my child has. My child has to be better than me. So my child will also be successful in what, if they choose that they want to be, you know, cleaning people's houses. Best believe that they'll be cleaning millions of houses around the world. And even if they're getting paid 10 naira for cleaning, 10 million. Yeah, now, if they're cleaning millions of houses for 10 naira, you can imagine that they're bringing in an income of 10 million. I believe that they can do whatever they want to do, and they'll be a major success at it.